I want to welcome everyone to the 2025 State of the Port, presented by Valero and hosted by the United Corpus Christi Chamber of Commerce. My name is Cindy Barrera. I'm a Vice President of Business Development for Frost Wealth Management. And I am also privileged to serve as a 2025 Chair of the Board of Directors for the United Corpus Christi Chamber of Commerce. The Port of Corpus Christi is truly one of the greatest assets of our community and a powerful driver of our regional economy. Its growth has fueled new opportunities, has sparked innovation, and has created prosperity across the coastal bend, touching the lives of so many families and businesses. We are incredibly fortunate to have a port that not only leads the way in global commerce, but also champions progress right here at home. This past year has been especially exciting with the completion of the Ship Channel Improvement Project, deepening the channel from 47 feet to 54 feet. This achievement strengthens the port's role as a world-class energy and trade gateway, making the way for the very largest vessels, more global competitiveness, and a stronger future for all of us. We also celebrate the completion of the new Harbor Bridge, a true milestone for our yes, that is worth a round of applause. It's a true milestone for our region's infrastructure that will support mobility, trade, and economic growth for decades to come. The new bridge will also allow large crude carriers into the ship channel, transforming the way that the port does business. We have so much to be proud of as a community, and today's program will give us a closer look at what's ahead. Port Commission Chair David P. Engel will start us off with an overview of the current state of the port, followed by a lively panel discussion led and moderated by Port CEO Kent Britton. So without further ado, let's begin the program. I would like to welcome to the stage the Port of Corpus Christi Commission Chairman David P. Engel to deliver his State of the Port address. Everyone, please help me welcome Port Chairman David P. Engel.
Well, hello. Welcome. What a crowd. The Chamber did a great job of hosting this event. I want to thank them. But I also want to go a little off script and just say I want to thank the delegation, our legislative delegation that's here. I know we have a congressman here, Vicente Gonzalez. I know that Senator Juan Hinojosa is here. Chairman Hunter's here. I know that the other Senator Hinojosa, Adam Hinojosa, is here. I didn't see him, but I know he's here. There you are. Who am I missing? Denise, our state rep, who's a dynamo. The reason I bring this up is that our delegation that represents this area is so important in terms of helping us get the funding we need for all kinds of different projects, and they were very helpful in getting the projects that we needed for this port. So I just want to call them out, and also all the people that run for office that represent this area, you know, they deserve another round of applause. You know, as I look around and what I've seen and as I got here today, you know, there's so many faces of people that have made a difference for this area. I see past and present elected officials. I've got at my table, I've got two past chairmen of the port, Chairman Zahn and Chairman Bonilla. You know, there's a lot of people that have made a big difference in this community, but there's bankers are here, insurance brokers are here, distributors are here, retailers are here, and many of the suppliers that supply the services to the port industries are here, as well as representatives from our customers who we value so greatly. And we just want to thank you all for all coming out. But that is why the theme of this year is everyone is part of the port. Many of you here today wear different hats, and you serve on different boards, and you donate your time to charitable and civic causes, and you participate in events like this because you care, and you want to see the best for your families and this community. And when I say this community, I'm talking about the Coastal Bend. So with that said, I'd like to recognize the 6 commissioners who serve along with me, working with our great port staff here at the Port of Corpus Christi. So when I call your name, please stand, and you can remain standing. We'll clap at the end. Commissioner Wes Hoskins, who I grew up with in Victoria, appointed by San Patricio County. He's the vice chair, and he serves as the chair of the Security Committee. Wes, please stand. Commissioner Gabe Guerra, he's appointed by the City of Corpus Christi. He serves as the secretary of the Port Commission. He chairs the Audit Committee and is a member of the Long Range Planning Committee. Gabe, please stand. Commissioner Rajan Ahuja, he's appointed by the City of Corpus Christi, and he chairs the important Long Range Planning Committee. Commissioner Diane Gonzalez, she was appointed by the Nueces County. She chairs the Agriculture Committee, and she serves on the Security Committee. Thank you, Diane. Commissioner Michael Pedrati, appointed by Nueces County. He serves on the Security and Ag Committee. And Michael, I see you standing. And finally, Commissioner Tony LaMattia, who could not be here with us today. He's appointed by the Nueces County, and he serves on the Audit Committee. Let's give these people a round of applause. Now, I will tell you that each of these individuals, and this is very true, dedicate countless hours in each month guiding the strategy and providing oversight to the great ports management team. And I know many of you do the same for your important organizations. So it's only fitting for me to have this opportunity to give you a little bit more, insight into these individuals' commissioners' goals for this port. So please direct your attention to the video screens. We have a little video for you to see.
One of the things that I've been able to witness a lot is people that have taken nothing and made it into something. Digging that ditch for 26 miles was very visionary.
If you do the right thing for the right purpose, then you've done your job. Always leave something better than you found it.
I was born in New Delhi, which is the capital of India. I grew up in a small neighborhood playing on the streets. And I was 18 years old when I left India to come here for higher studies.
My service represents the 36th year of 100 years that my family has served on the Port of Corpus Christi.
So our beginnings in farming were very educational. A lot of hard work, there's a lot of unknowns in farming. So I think that part of the farming taught us a lot of what you do every day matters.
The history of our family in conservation and environment, and seeing that industry and environment has to work together, that's what got me started.
You got to look over the horizon. You got to see what's coming, and that's hard to do some days. You got to be ready to be able to execute when life throws you a curve.
I'm one of 7 commissioners. I must work with those commissioners who bring different experiences.
As an oil executive, I understand how the oil comes and where it comes from and what it looks like and why it looks like a certain way, including natural gas, which turns into LNG.
I am committed to the Port of Corpus Christi, Nueces County, and the great jobs that the Port of Corpus Christi provides every single day in our region.
As a commissioner, we're supposed to do what's in the best interest of the port, and I believe that doing something in the best interest in the port requires that you look at the best interest of the communities as well in your decision process.
I think we have a bunch of like-minded people who are not in it for themselves, but are really trying to do better. We seem to come to a nice conclusion at the end of the day.
I feel like we've gotten back to the basics of business with the port, blocking, tackling, and one of the things I'm proud of as being a port commissioner is that we've dedicated some funds to maintenance and upgrade of our docks.
Our port has become the energy port of the Americas. So we export 60% of crude oil that leaves this country to service the world.
We understand that the great jobs in our region come from our industrial stakeholders who are moving forward our region.
It's so important to the coastal bend. It really employs so many people, not only directly but indirectly. The path that it's on, keep it going in that direction.
Continue the port to become the leader that it is and to be successful, but to have community and environment in the background. Be thinking about how we can work together.
What makes a city hum? What makes it great? The story there is the Port of Corpus Christi.
I tell you what, it almost chokes me up watching that. I'm serving my, thank you. It's really, I'm serving my 12th and my final year as a port commissioner, and man, does time fly. And over these past 12 years, I've seen the port evolve from mostly importing crude and shipping refined products to today, thanks again to our customers, we've become the largest exporter of crude in the United States. And get this, we're the third largest in the world, only second behind two ports in Saudi Arabia. This is in addition to the amounts of LNG and the refined products that come out of our refineries being produced and shipped all over the world. Your port is the venue being used to import and export over $320 million per day, each and every day. Not only are we the #1 export port for crude in the United States, but 10% of everything that Europe gets comes from this port. Believe me, when we attend the World Energy Conferences, everybody knows the importance of the Port of Corpus Christi and what the difference is making to their countries. This port and the industry partners have made little old Corpus Christi recognized all over the world as a vital player providing needed energy to Europe, Asia, and other parts of the globe. This has strengthened the position of our allies at the expense of many of our adversaries and competitors. The Port Commission and all the commissioners we have followed, along with the people who actually operate this port now and in years past, have contributed leadership, strategy, and decisions which have allowed this port to become who we are today. I am proud, and I'm sure my fellow commissioners and my past commissioners are also proud of really the small part that we played in this port's 100-year history. Think about this. The coastal bend is one of the most unique and strategic economies in the entire state of Texas, and for that matter, the United States. What other area has seen the amount of industrial investment, over $70 billion in the last 10 years, with more coming, or has had the thousands of good-paying jobs created? Now, to match these investments by our customers, the port itself has invested over $1 billion over the last 10 years in infrastructure projects, improvements, new docks, repairing old ones, and we spent about $400 million on the recently completed deepening and widening project, which brought this channel to the depth of 54 feet, making this port, with the exception of one other small port in Texas, the deepest port in the entire Gulf. Now, the deepening of the channel was a project that started almost 30 years, it was in the 90s, is allowing our customers to load more product on bigger ships, which then lowers the overall transportation costs for the end users, making our partners more competitive while simultaneously reducing hydrocarbons and the risk of accidents because we have larger ships but fewer ships going through the channel. Knowing this deepening would be completed one day, most likely entered into some early investment decisions for some of our customers exporting crude and refined products. Celebrating the final stage of this project was a milestone achievement for the entire community. So I'd like to share another video with you that captures the essence of that moment. It's with great pride that I can officially proclaim the Port of Corpus Christi Ship Channel is now the most improved waterway on the entire Gulf Coast.
The team has worked tirelessly to deliver a channel that is deeper, wider, and more capable of supporting the national interests of the United States of America. We expanded 11.9 miles, went from 47 to 54 feet, and widened it 130 feet out to 530 feet.
It certainly is an honor to be here today to celebrate this tremendous achievement at what I think we can now say is the undisputed energy port of the country.
If we invest wisely and if we work together, we can create jobs and prepare our communities for a future that is bigger, bolder, and more prosperous than anything we've known before.
Port of Corpus Christi is already the #1 U.S. export gateway for crude oil and the second largest LNG export facility in the nation. With this project now complete, we are reinforcing position as the heartbeat of global energy.
We all recognize that this is about the success of our community directly, but it is touching and making a difference in so many lives that don't even realize it across a country and across other countries.
We stand united behind the port as they embark on this exciting new endeavor, a new chapter in Nueces County's history.
Other than the creation of this port, this is probably the most significant thing the port has done. And so we are going to continue to unlock opportunities for jobs, community reinvestment, and regional economic prosperity.
I'm sure that when the citizens over 100 years ago made that decision to dig this channel, they were hoping it would create opportunities and attract new people to move to this area and provide economic stability. But I guarantee you, they couldn't have ever imagined that it would become the economic engine attracting this kind of investments by our industry partners that we have today. Why is this so important for our communities in this region? It's because investment creates jobs, and it allows people to have a higher standard of living. They buy homes, they send their children to our schools, they buy cars, they buy houses, they shop at our local stores. This in turn generates millions of dollars of tax revenues for our local governments to use to pay for new schools or to update schools, for police and fire protection, infrastructure improvements to our streets and utilities, and other quality of life services we expect from the cities where we live. So what's next? What's next for the future of this port? As I said in my talk last year, approximately 10 years ago, Chairman Zahn and I were told by current and future customers their investment decisions need to be predicated on three things: people, power, and water. I spilled some water on my speech earlier, so it's a little paper. There we go. Entities like Del Mar College, the Craft Training Center, Texas A&M Corpus Christi and Kingsville, they stepped up and they trained and provided skilled craftsmen, operators, and engineers. The port's been working with AEP to continue to look out years from now to make sure that the power required for future projects in the Inner Harbor will be there when we need it. And along with the city of Corpus Christi's efforts to find additional water sources, the port has attained permits in the Gulf to intake and discharge 100 million gallons a day, which has been leased now to the Nueces River Authority, and their plan is to build a large-scale plant at Harbor Island. I know we need rain, and it will rain someday. But the groundwork that has been laid and the high interest by business still wanting to take advantage of this port remains high, which means more job opportunities for this area and, more importantly, opportunities for our families and our children. However, I don't want anybody in this room to take this for granted. And I want to challenge each and every one of you here today to think big, stay involved. Do not take our current success for granted. We cannot be complacent, and all of us need to do our part to make this region continue to grow, create good paying jobs, and provide a lifestyle where our children will want to live in the coastal bend. To meet that needs, our clients, our community, and the state of Texas, it is important that all of our local governments work together to develop the resources necessary to achieve our full potential. I am very proud of the safety record and operational efficiencies for the port and what it offers its customers. And I want to say thank you to the 300 women and men who work 24/7 to make sure this channel is open and barge and ship traffic moves smoothly and, more importantly, safely. These individuals are professional and they're personally committed to their roles at the port. But you don't have to take my word for it. I have another video that will show you some testimonials.
At the Port of Corpus Christi, we are powered by people. Individuals professionally and personally dedicated to enhancing the quality of life in our port city. They are strong and resilient, thoughtful and driven, selfless and humble, and committed to a calling that extends beyond the workday and the office.
My grandma is a vessel traffic controller. She works at the Port of Corpus Christi. She tells the boats on how to get in and out safely so they don't crash into each other.
So a vessel traffic controller is a person who's directing traffic, ship traffic and barge traffic, parking them at different docks.
I'm proud of my grandma because it's important that all the oil and chemicals come in and out safely from Corpus Christi.
Our dad is the Commercial and Business Development Manager
at the Port of Corpus Christi.
So this is the bulk terminal. He markets the port to other businesses to bring their goods and items through the port to distribute them to America.
He grabs the stuff that Port of Corpus Christi markets and he puts it on the boat.
When I look at my dad's job and I think about the future, I think that I might want to do something like this, because he gets an ocean view in his office. That's very nice.
I will get back to you in, 14 years.
Our mom, Sarah Garza, is the Director of Environmental Planning and Compliance
for the Port of Corpus Christi.
My team and I make sure that all that water stays clean that way and that the air stays clean. So we work with the companies who bring in the big ships and we try to find ways to reduce the pollution.
She helps rebuilding ecosystems for the animals along the coastline so that way the animals are nice and healthy.
For the turtles, we did a big release down at the beach. It makes me proud that she's a hardworking, strong girl and she knows what she's doing.
This channel used to be at 47 feet. We're now at 54. It's a project that we started 30 years ago and we just completed it.
My dad is Omar Garcia. He is the Chief External Affairs Officer at the Port of Corpus Christi. He helps bring in ships, helps with partners, open new jobs for the Port of Corpus Christi, and business opportunities. What makes me proud of him is he works extra hard. And when you work hard, that money goes to a good cause, like a good school, food, shelter. It's really cool.
Oh look, if you wave at them, they say hi.
My auntie is Brianna Garza. She is a community relation specialist.
We helped out 200 nonprofit organizations get money so that they can help people.
She helps the port give schools money, school supplies, computers. I think it's really cool. I'm Ethan Ryan Rivera. I'm part of the port.
I am Gabriel Garcia, and I am part of the port.
I'm Sophia Chapa, and I am part of the port.
I'm Raylan.
And I'm Reggie.
And we are part of the port.
I'm Joaquin.
And I'm Isela. And we are part of the port.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure to visit with you today. And in closing, I want to thank again the United Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank the port's customers. And I want to thank all the port's employees, all under the leadership of our CEO, Kent Britton, and his executive team. And Kent, if you kind of step up this way, Kent became our CEO about almost 2.5 years ago. 7 years ago, or almost 8, he was our CFO. And Kent, you have done a fantastic job of leading this port the last couple of years, and we really appreciate all that you've done. I'd also like to recognize his executive team, so just please stand when I call your name. Kyle Hogan, our Chief Operating Officer. I think everybody knows Kyle. Cindy Bertolami, our Chief Financial Officer. She succeeded Kent. Omar Garcia, he's our Chief External Affairs Officer. Brenda Reed, our Chief Talent Officer, HR. And Jeff Pollock, I love this title, Chief Strategy and Sustainability Officer. He's always amazed that I can say that 3-syllable word. So Kent, come join me on stage. And again, I want to thank everybody for being here. We have another piece of the puzzle that Kent's going to lead from now. Thank you, Kent.
Thank you, David. Fantastic job. Hi, so I'm Kent Britton, and I'm part of the port. I didn't actually think I give this comment several times when I give these presentations. I have a staff, and they write things up for me to say, and then I always just kind of go on. So I just came up with that one. But I love that video. I truly do. You know, I want to echo what Chairman Engel said about how appreciative we are that you're all here, because you are the port, right? This community is the port. Our customers are the port. All of our partners, all the elected officials who work on our behalf. You're really the port. We're the shepherds of the port, and we try to keep the commerce flowing. It's important for the economic development of this region, but we couldn't do it without all of you. And so it really humbles me to look out here and see this many people. Cindy told me that maybe we sold like 15 or 20 extra tables by being in a little bit bigger space. That's really a testament, I think, to what all of you have done and what we've all built here in this port. And so I'm just honored and humbled to be at the reins of this organization for the last 2.5 years, and hope to continue doing that. We changed our format a little bit last year and went away from Chairman Engel doing a long prepared speech to a little bit shorter one with some videos, and then we brought up a panel of industry folks. And so for the 4 that participated with us last year, we truly appreciate that. We've got 4 different folks from industry and our community partners who I'm going to sit with today and cover a couple of topics. I've got some good topics that were prepared by my staff, of course, and then I've added a couple of extras. First one, actually, we're going to delve into is how the Cowboys could possibly have the highest rated offense in the league, literally number 1 in offensive efficiency, and literally the last place defense in the entire league, the 32nd ranked team in defense efficiency. Although for you Cowboys fans, I have heard a lot of people touting that as, hey, we lead the league, we're number 1 in defensive inefficiency. I don't think that's actually a thing, so, but we'll get into that. We've got some experts who are going to talk about that. So, wait till next year. I've been here in the Coastal Bend 13 years. I've been hearing that a lot. But listen, I'm a Falcons fan, so I got nothing I can say. So first off, from Pin Oak, I'd like to welcome Christine Welchel. And yeah, you can go ahead and applaud as they come up. So Christine brings over 25 years of engineering and operational leadership in the oil and gas sector and expertise in crude oil gathering and infrastructure strategy across key U.S. basins. She is Executive Vice President of Operations for Pin Oak, one of our midstream partners in the Inner Harbor. Second, from Cheniere, I'd like to welcome Nishita Singh. She went into the office today and everyone asked her why she was dressed like an FBI agent. That's a true story. I'm not busting on her in any way. She told me that. Nishida is Vice President and General Manager for Cheniere Energy, leads operations at the Gregory LNG Export Terminal, bringing 17 years of global energy expertise and a strong commitment to advancing innovation and workforce development in the Coastal Bend. Third, from the Texas State Aquarium, I'd like to welcome Jesse Gilbert. And I visited Jesse several times in his office at the aquarium, and he is always dressed like an FBI agent. So Jesse is President and Chief Executive Officer for the Texas State Aquarium, leads strategic initiatives for the aquarium and its Wildlife Rescue Center, pioneering the nation's first emergency operations center for wildlife disasters, and advancing coastal resiliency through science, education, and economic impact. And last but not least, from Del Mar College, I'd like to welcome Dr. Mark Escamilla. Mark is President and Chief Executive Officer for Del Mar College and has led transformational growth in regional education and workforce development, overseeing nearly $300 million in campus expansion and driving strategic partnerships that support the Coastal Bend's economic future. One more time, can we welcome our panel? Said you're supposed to have a green light. Green light, if you get a green light, it's good. All right, so first and foremost, I was joking about discussing the Cowboys up here, so you're off the hook on that one. But I do want to start, Christine, with you, if we could, because Chairman Engel talked a bit about the role that this port has taken on for crude oil exports. And so the port went from 0 exports in 2015 when the crude oil export ban was lifted by President Obama to this past year exporting 2.3 million barrels per day of crude oil. As Chairman Engel said, that's roughly 10% of all of Europe's crude oil that they receive. It's a tremendous number. It places us with about 60% market share for crude oil exports in the United States. As a midstream company, you've been on the forefront of that growth and moving that crude oil from the Eagle Ford and the Permian basins out to customers around the world. It's become our specialty. It's kind of our calling card here in Corpus Christi. But now if you look at the landscape and you talk to folks about Corpus Christi in particular, you'll hear that, well, the pipelines are starting to get near capacity. Crude oil prices this morning when I left the office were $58.44. That's getting toward the low end of when people start worrying about crude oil production. And you've seen fewer rigs going up in the 2 main basins that supply oil here. So can you just kind of talk a little bit about Pin Oak's journey here in Corpus Christi, but also how you're going to navigate the kind of changing market conditions that we're seeing right now?
Yes, thank you for the question. You're absolutely right. We have seen the price of oil come down significantly. We've been hovering around $60 for a little bit now. I will say, though, the Permian Basin is still growing, although at a much slower pace. And as Kent said, the pipelines into the Corpus Christi market are running full and highly utilized. And until we do see some expansion in those pipelines, the amount of growth that the Corpus Christi crude oil market can experience will be very limited. So as far as just switching over to what Pin Oak is doing specifically, I mean, on a day-to-day basis, we are just maintaining our focus on safe, reliable, compliant, and efficient operations. And we are making sure that we're delivering what our customers expect, which is schedule compliance and that reliability. But on a commercial standpoint, a couple of things that we're doing is Pin Oak doesn't just export crude oil. We have diversified into a couple of different products. We deliver to the market some NGLs, specifically C5. And then we're also handling some heavy products coming from some of our refinery customers. So we're continuing to focus on how we might further diversify our own terminal into other markets. We are consistently and continuously trying to market any spot windows that we might have come available on our docks. We've got, it's fully contracted, but on a day-to-day, month-to-month basis, our customers will decide whether they're going to ship from our dock or from another dock, depending on what the market is telling them and what they can secure those ships and their cargoes for. And so when we have those windows available, we're continuously trying to market those. And then in addition, we are working with the port so that we are ready if and when those pipelines get expanded to be able to execute expansion projects very quickly.
Perfect, thank you very much. Initiative, switching over to LNG. So it was on one of Chairman Ingles' slides. In addition to being the #1 crude oil export port in the country, we're the #2 LNG export port in the country. Now, I should say, and we have one LNG plant here, that's Cheniere. I should say also the #1 LNG export port is really the Sabine Neches waterway, which is also where Cheniere's other plant is. So you guys are doing a fantastic job on that market. So when you think about that LNG market, so you're a key player not only here, but really on the worldwide stage. And so how do you see Cheniere's role in shaping global energy security and sustainability, and what does that mean for this region's position kind of on that world stage?
Thank you for the question. Yes, Cheniere is the largest LNG producer in the United States and the second largest in the world. And about a third of our production is done right here in Corpus Christi and goes out the La Quinta channel of this port. We've exported so far as Cheniere around 4,000 plus cargo, out of which 1,200 of them have come out of this port. We've been in operation since 2018, and we really enjoy the luxury of the commute in the La Quinta port, right? And because of the size of the port, we also enjoy the luxury of growing as a brownfield facility. So what that means for us is we started off with about 3 trains, 15 million tons per annum. We change units so nobody can understand how big we are in comparison. No, just kidding, lots of LNG. So just as reference, every ship that we send out will be able to power 1 million people for a month in Europe, for example. And I say Europe specifically because of their energy usage, right? And most of our cargoes since 2022 have been directed to Europe. Right, so we started off as 15 million tons per annum capacity, and we are now growing to double that size. We recently FID'd 2 additional trains that will bring our capacity up to 30 plus million tons per annum by 2028. Right, and we are in pre-filing to grow that even further at its capacity for another 20 million tons. And a little bit higher at its highest capacity, and we're able to do that because of the coastal bend area and what the port is able to provide for us in that channel.
Thank you very much. So, Mark, with $65 billion in capital investments in the region, including the first 2 folks who spoke here, and that's over the last decade, really. Workforce readiness is kind of crucial to that success story, right? So how has and how is Del Mar evolving its programs and its curriculum to handle that need for those skilled workforces?
So I remember when I got here, shortly after I got here, and there was a company coming in with $1 billion of investment. And we said, hallelujah, we're on our way. 1 billion. Okay, that was 2010, somewhere around there. And we got excited. We went out of the country and we went and we translated the training manuals and we We did all kinds of things, and doing that in Mandarin wasn't easy. That point to where we are today, David said 70 billion. I've heard 74 billion. I've heard 65. It doesn't matter. Anything in the neighborhood has been a challenge, and it's been about one thing. And I thought about this a lot in preparation for this question, and that is what's really undergirded the evolution has been governance. Sound governance at the college. I know, I think, where's my Del Mar College table? I mean, we're here somewhere. We're hoop and holler, and I think we got them up there. Hoop and holler, come on guys, we got you can't pay for this kind of stuff. So Carol Scott's here. I think she's been our chair for almost most of the 11 years that she's on the board. We were talking about it last night, in fact, at David's house. I think it was for the fundraiser there. It's about steadiness and sound governance, because then the CEO knows that you can move ahead. And what we've done is made some very, very tough calls over the last most of 17 years. And we had to flip the curriculum because Del Mar College was not listening to the people we serve, you all, the companies. And we weren't doing any favors to our graduates. Frankly, we had to face the fire. We had to face ourselves first and foremost and flip that curriculum. Long story short, fast forward, we are busting at the seams, primarily, especially at the Windward campus. Used to be Del Mar Tech, depending what generation you're coming from, Del Mar Tech, West Campus, Windward campus. That place is busting at the seams now because we are working very closely with our partners. Advisory councils, absolutely critical. We have many advisory council members in here, I know. It takes listening, being real, being honest with ourselves, being steady at the helm with whatever, whether at the departmental level, the classroom level, the departmental level, divisional, all the way to the administration and the Board of Regents. It takes being steady and looking forward. That's really been the formula. We have over 20,000 students. We just recorded right at 21,000 students at Del Mar College last academic year. People don't know that exactly. This semester we have over 11,700 credit students, and we're forecast to have as many or more on those short-term programs that bring people out of poverty more than ever. That word gets around. The word gets around that the people from Pin Oak and Chenier and all the other great industry partners out there want these graduates, and the word takes off like wildfire, and that's where the magic happens. And then the evolution after that is just about keeping at the forefront and making sure that the curriculum stays relevant and relevant to our industry partners and relevant to those students who are graduating.
Thank you very much. Jesse, so everyone who works within the Port of Corpus Christi takes their environmental responsibility very seriously also. You're obviously one of the most visible environmental focal points of the community. There's a lot going on with this old Harbor Bridge coming down. It's not worrying me at all that it's 55 feet from the end of our building. But with the old bridge coming down, the new bridge now creating a different kind of access onto North Beach, can you kind of talk to us a little bit about your plans and how the aquarium is kind of in the forefront of that environmental sustainability and responsibility?
Sure. So, the Harbor Ridge is here. We've been talking about it for years, and to see it actually open and the old bridge starting to come down, we talk about it almost as a generational change. There's not a lot of people in this community that remember North Beach without the old Harbor Bridge, and it's quite a structure. Our main parking lot is underneath it. So, for the last couple of years, as we've been making these plans, we've actually rendered the old Harbor Bridge out of some of our Google Earth images, so you can really get a sense for what that looks like. And if you take out the bridge, you take out the connecting ramps and some of the right of way, it really is it's a tremendous change on North Beach that I think we'll realize here in probably the next 6-8 months. So we've been looking at that quite a bit and what that looks like. Right now, we see about 500,000 visitors a year at the aquarium, and we have challenges on North Beach. We've got some infrastructure issues. If you come to North Beach on a Saturday in July, the streets are completely clogged with traffic. There's pedestrians everywhere. We run out of parking. I mean, we have a capacity issue on North Beach. So, this gives us an opportunity as a community to address that. We've got some drainage issues on North Beach. That's not a surprise to anybody, I think. And so how do we handle drainage on North Beach? Spoiler alert, we're about to bring manatees to the aquarium. And so once those animals come, our data is suggesting that we might see 600,000 visitors. So if we increase by 20%, what do? It's a great economic driver in the community on the tourism side of things. So we're really taking the opportunity to look at North Beach. How do we improve that infrastructure? What can we do that's sustainable? And then certainly helps drive not only the aquarium as an educational facility and a place to visit to learn about wildlife, but then also the wildlife rescue program and kind of where that's headed. So I commend this community because they've done a great job of stewarding the environment, the port leading that charge, and we're benefactors of that.
Thank you very much. Wow, everybody's doing great. Can you rounds of applause after each question? That's great. No, I appreciate it. And I came over and saw you about 3 weeks ago, and we talked through a lot of those plans. It's exciting stuff. It really is, and we're proud to be partners with you guys. Nishita, going back to you just a bit, and Mark's points about workforce development. Chenier has been an important partner to Del Mar College, even serving on their board at times, and has supported building new equipment and infrastructure needed to train students for the fields that are applicable to you guys. How do you see that partnership and the partnership of other folks, other companies in this room, kind of shaping the workforce pipeline for not just what you do at your plant, but for all of the folks in here who are working in industry, and how does it kind of help prepare us long-term for future growth?
Yeah, I think we were talking in the table earlier, and Dr. Escamilla was talking about listening to industry, right? And we're on your advisory panel, we're part of your board with yourself and Lenora helping us. We put together an apprenticeship program, and we said, hey, we want to bring in the students and give them hands-on experience, teach them early on, and that has been such a successful program for us. If one of your students or one of the Del Mar students completes that program, our hiring rate for it is 92%. Like, we want them in, right? And most of those students are local, and what better way to grow and have a sustainable workforce than to have locals who have grown up in this community working at the facility, right? We also want to prepare them for us. So in 2019, I think we donated an LNG skid. So when they come in, they already have seen some of that equipment, and that preparation leads to the success and the numbers we hired towards the end, right? And we keep growing, and we need more and more. And we love to hire at the level 1, level 2s from Del Mar and grow them with our other operators who've been in the industry for a while. And they learn, they grow, and then we get the next batch in, right? So it's been an incredible story with Del Mar, and we're very proud to have the relationship that we have. I'll say this, generally the growth on the Gulf Coast, not just LNG but others, but certainly LNG has been so high. I don't think there has been a higher demand for skilled labor in the Gulf than it has been now, right? So everyone's looking, we hear some statistics, like there's a lot of new people coming into the industry. It's the first time they're even seeing facilities like refineries or LNG facilities, and that's creating some very interesting challenges. So the more skilled labor that we can have, the better we will be. And we look to schools like Del Mar to help us with that.
Absolutely. So 93% of our graduates completing degrees or certificates at Del Mar College stay in the community for at least 5 years. For at least 5 years. So I'm going to expect a standing O for what I'm about to say if you're clapping about that, because that means 80+%, if I'm being conservative, never leave. They intend to stay here. They are built to stay here. They come to school here. They work 2 and 3 and 4 jobs. They graduate. They go through these wonderful programs. It's like draft day, which comes around, or the other entities. Maybe the Cowboys ought to come draft from Del Mar College. I don't know. Anyway, I love the Cowboys. Anyway, but it's like draft day. These people, these young folks, all different ages, all different experiences, are getting quality experience because many of our partners out here have donated significant amounts of money to make our curriculum the most relevant curriculum through our process technology programs, our instrumentation programs, our accounting programs, all of our programs. They've invested in all of them. And so it's taken us. Today is really this conversation, coming from me anyways, is really a culmination of almost 2 decades of changing things and building things and listening together. Again, these students are starting off, they're coming out of high school. I always have anecdotes and so forth, but we hear them. They are coming from, I'm just gonna say it, economically disadvantaged positions, okay? And they're coming from there, and they are moving into prosperity, okay? Not just paying the bills, and they're paying the bills. They're coming into prosperity because of these agreements and this enculturation. As our partners are bringing them in, they're taking care of these people. And then when, again, 80+%, or if you go back to the 93% of the graduates that want to stay here, it's a beautiful, beautiful chemistry.
I'd add a comment. A lot of the apprentices that we get are also women.
Yes.
And we have a primarily Hispanic community here. And some of the stories that I hear is, I never thought this would be a job for me, right? I never thought I could do this. And we have operators, millwrights, you name it. And it's just been such an incredible influx.
We were just talking about that with the group yesterday, about the women, the young women that are coming in. You know, we speculate. Why now? Why these generations? It's not the old traditional, this is the men's and this is the women's studies and so forth. It is, I attribute it to high school athletics. Chris Steinbrook, you're out there somewhere. I attribute it to those kind of other superintendents that are here. I attribute it to that. And, you know, a lot of what they call, I have girl dads in my family. I'm a boy dad, but anyway, girl dads. It has a lot to do with that. You know, I can do what dad does. It may not be baseball, but I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to study like dad and be a doctor. Those walls are down. We're talking about we have many female instructors in the industrial trades as well that are bringing them in. And it's a new day. It's a new day.
All right, so we're going to need you guys to make the next My Town, Our Future commercial. Because I think it's gotten lost, actually, so without, this isn't in my scripted remarks, sorry, Lisa. I think something's gotten lost in the discourse the last 6 months in the city about the value of industry and industry providing those jobs that take people from economic uncertainty to prosperity. And so thank you guys for really hitting on that. I think that's really impactful. All right, so Lisa either flashed me the 2 hours to go or the 10 minutes to go. So I've got 2 more questions. Christine, let's go to you, and then Jesse will finish with you. So we talked a little bit about the environmental responsibility, and everyone that works in industry in this community feels a responsibility to take care of that. So both environmental, though, and safety, as an operator, people who are putting people out there kind of on the front lines of production, can you kind of talk about Pin Oak's approach and your approach to how you keep folks safe and how you keep something like crude oil, which is one of the things you're loading, out of our waterways and out of our environment?
Yeah, so first and foremost, we consider our environmental responsibility and our responsibility to our employees and contractors to be table stakes. I mean, those are non-negotiables. Compliance with rules and regulations are something that we take very seriously at Pin Oak, and I know all of our peers do as well. Just because we are a small terminal doesn't mean that we're exempt from any of the same rules that all of our bigger counterparts are. We're We're accountable to TCEQ, to the Railroad Commission, to the GLO, to the Coast Guard, to the Department of Transportation, to OSHA. I mean, you name it, we're responsible for some rule or regulation that those organizations promulgate. And so one of the first things that myself and my leadership team did when we joined PINOC about 4 years ago is we did a comprehensive audit. We wanted to know, are there any things that we're unaware of that we're not compliant in? And if we are, we want to fix those. And so we've spent the last couple of years, we built a very comprehensive compliance management system. It has hundreds of tasks in it that our team is responsible for to make sure that we are compliant with all the regulations. We take reliability and the integrity of our systems very seriously so that we don't put any oil or any other product on the ground or in the channel. And so those are top priorities. When it comes to safety, we focus on that every single day. A couple of our principles of operation are that we're going to do it safely or we're not going to do it all. And there's always time to do it right. And I'm very proud of our team. They take that seriously every day, not only for our own employees, but for any contractor or truck driver or anybody else who steps onto our facility. We make sure that we're looking out for them. And as of today, we have gone 1,433 days without an injury. So that's quite an accomplishment.
All right, so Jesse, we're going to wrap this up with you. You mentioned it in your prior remarks, but the Wildlife Rescue Center. So different, I was going to say different animal. That wasn't intended. But,
it is. It's a very different animal.
Different animal from the aquarium itself. Can you kind of elaborate? They wrote me down some facts, said you guys have taken in 8,700 animals over the time since you started the center, including almost 3,000 endangered species. Can you just kind of talk about what's going on there and how that plays into creating not just benefits for this community and the wildlife in this community, but how you're kind of turning this into a national and international endeavor?
Absolutely. No, yeah, so it is a different animal. The Wildlife Rescue Program is built to rescue those animals in the coastal bend. We have a very rich animal population here, dolphins, manatees, sea turtles. And so today, the Wildlife Rescue Program, because of the investment from the port and a number of you in the room, this is the leading wildlife rescue program now in the United States. We have the most capacity in the United States. And that's given us the opportunity to do some incredible things. And so not only are we going out and we're saving sea turtles and some of the different things that you might see in the community, we've actually been able to take one of our first pieces of intellectual property. And at the urging of different agencies, both at the state and the federal level, we believe this technique, this technology could actually save entire herds of cattle during wildfires. If you want details on that, I'll elaborate later, but so we're actually now not only just saving the animals that are here in the coastal bend, we're saving animals across the country. We are now the overflow for the rest of the United States. So on a very annual basis, those animals are coming to us from other parts of the country because of the investment that this community has made in that program. We're actually expanding those operations. So now we're working on research very closely with Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi, the Heart Research Institute. There are things happening now on North Beach that are on a global scale. And so we're excited about it. The plans are good. And that's taken us across the country, a lot of work in Austin. And we're dealing with endangered species, so we end up in Washington quite a bit to talk about it with the federal folks. And the message has become very clear. The coastal bend has really become a model for economic development and balancing that with wildlife resiliency. What I tell people when we're in Washington or wherever we're at, every drop of water in the nation's third best aquarium, we were voted the third best aquarium in North America this July. Every drop of water in the country's leading wildlife rescue program comes from Corpus Christi Bay. And like Chairman Ingalls said, we're doing great things. A lot of energy is moving through this port, the port of the Americas. So when we bring that water in, I take the color out of it, and I polish it up a little bit. I'll make sure the parasites are out of there, but every drop of water in the aquarium is from Corpus Christi Bay. There are some of the most sensitive animals that live in the ocean in the aquarium, and I tell people it's the most visible bioassay I've ever seen. You can walk through that aquarium, you can see those animals are thriving, they're doing well. And so Corpus Christi has done a great job of managing the bay system. And so I applaud everybody in this room. That's an accomplishment that we should all be proud of. It's a model. It's delicate, and we have to keep that balance. But Corpus Christi has done a great job. The Coastal Bend has done a great job of making sure that we can move the needle forward on economic development, resilient community, but also resilient wildlife. And the aquarium is living proof of it. You can literally walk through every day and see that.
Sorry, learning to navigate this. Thank you very much for that comment. Mark is either developing a twitch down there or he wants to say one more thing. So let me let me give everybody the opportunity. So starting with you, Mark, 30 to 60 seconds to finish.
I would be remiss if I didn't thank our delegation, going through those sessions together. Okay, thank you. I love you. Okay, I don't love driving to Austin as many times as I had to. I know you don't either. But thank you all to our delegation. We cannot do this without you all, and it's an honor to work side by side with y'all in that big pink building in Austin. I've been doing it a lot of times. I guess this is my 10th session. This is one of the most cohesive sessions that I've ever been a part of. The 88th and the 89th have been wonderful because of y'all. That's my party shot.
Jesse, I know you had the last word anyhow. Anything else you want to say?
I want to say thank you. Thank you for support of the aquarium, but ultimately thank you for what you do for this community, all of you, in making sure that we do have wildlife and that the wildlife is resilient. This really is a model now in the United States.
Appreciate you being here. Nishita?
I'll continue the thanks. We couldn't do it without this community. We couldn't do it without this port. So thank you. And we're here to stay. So.
All right, Christine, I think the final word's yours until it actually comes back to me.
What? Well, I want to thank you for letting me be here today and sharing a little bit about what we do here in the community. And I just wanted to also express my thanks to Mark and what they're doing over at Del Mar. I was telling him earlier that just 4 years ago when we were in need of an I&E technician, I think we went 9 months without one. And our current, we are currently looking for another one right now, and we've got more resumes than we know what to do with. A lot of that is thanks to what he's doing to bring more skilled labor to the community. So thank you.
All right, I'm going to turn it back over to the chamber now. Thank you again for being here, and one more round of applause for our panel.
And while we're at it, a round of applause for our moderator, Kent, and his leadership at the Port of Corpus Christi. On behalf of the United Chamber, thank you all for being here. And please remember to take your port caps and remember that you are part of Team Corpus Christi. Seeing a sold-out crowd, this is the largest crowd that we've had at State of the Port. So again, give yourselves a round of applause for being here. This just shows how deeply the community values our partner, the Port of Corpus Christi. Just to give you guys a heads up, also our 2026 sponsorship campaign is opening and we encourage you to be a part of it. Your early commitment helps us to continue hosting events like this, where we come together to celebrate progress, partnership, and the promise of what's ahead. To the Port of Corpus Christi, we salute you, your leadership, investment, and vision to shape the future of our region. And we are proud to stand alongside you. Together, we are building momentum for an even stronger Coastal Bend. Thank you all again for joining us. And remember, United starts with you.